Well, eventually, of course, there's going to be a big reveal, and you and Heenan are going to pretend to be astonished.
Well, we were pretty good at that. So maybe I should try to be astonished here as well when the reveal is that I don't know why oh, my God! It is Sister Sensational, Scary Sherri. Bless her heart. She was really a hell of a performer. Every time I see her, I think of the same thing. Gone too soon. Tragic loss. Girl out of control. But she could do a lot of things.
How great would she have been with the NXT kids?
Yeah. As you can see, we completely have no idea what we're doing here camera-wise. Where to go, what to do. We missed the finish. We tried to stay on a wide shot. We missed the 1, 2, 3. We were on her. She runs around in her heels. And we don't know where to go. We have still, just stay wide, guys. I can hear them in the truck right now. Just stay fucking wide because I have no, okay, take this shot. Wow. So the finish was kind of screwed up. And maybe that's why it was a 1 star. But I thought it was some pretty good work rate heading up to that.
I got to tell you, I liked Sherri with Harlem Heat. I thought it worked.
I do too. Sister Sherri.
You got any good Sherri stories?
No, none at all. I wish I did.
I feel like Sherri was a hell of a drinker. She knew how to do shots with the boys.
Oh yeah. And of course, I think it was well documented. She had a drug problem, and she was also, let me tell you this about Sherri. Heenan was scared to death of her.
Really?
Yeah. He always thought that she would do something that would be off script to hurt somebody. Because he always thought that she was kind of and I guess this is an old term, but a loose cannon in the ring. And that if she was drugged up or if she was alcoholed up, that she would do something that wasn't good. So
it's worth mentioning that the Fantastics had recently worked a television taping with Harlem Heat. Do you remember why they didn't get a bigger shot here with the company at this point?
The only thing I can think of is that they just didn't agree to a deal with Eric and the guys. I don't know why they wouldn't have gotten a bigger shot, because we knew they could work, right?
It's interesting here as we see this graphic for Starrcade, that Starrcade's on a Tuesday, but it couldn't have been on a Sunday because Christmas was on a Sunday. What's the rationale behind a Tuesday pay-per-view? That feels really odd now that we're kind of conditioned to them being on Sunday.
Yeah, I think the reason they wanted it on Christmas week, they always thought the week between Christmas and New Year's was a good week for business, and they had a lot of matinee shows around the country during that time, thinking that most people were taking that week off. So they thought they would put it on that week sometime, and they get with the cable companies and decide this is the best day to have it.
It's worth mentioning that at Center Stage at the end of October, Vader did a series of interviews talking about his Starrcade main event with Hulk Hogan, which is the way Flair booked it. Then, of course, Hogan got involved, overruled it, and now Vader was no longer in the main event of Starrcade. It was instead going to be Brutus the fucking Barber Beefcake.
Beefcake.
So it should have been Vader and Hogan. 'Twas not.
Well, listen, I had a feeling Hogan was afraid of Vader. And I say that not because he's scared of him, but he was probably afraid that Vader would do something to hurt him. Vader was stiff. He worked strong style.
About 10 days prior to this in Springfield, Missouri, they were doing a house show, and Vader's back went out just a few minutes into the match with the Guardian Angel, which is the name Ray Traylor was working under here. Right. WCW even called an ambulance for him, but he wound up being okay and didn't even miss any shots. Do you remember Vader's back going out? Was that a common occurrence? This is the first time I remember reading about that.
No, he had a bad back, and we knew that. And the reason he had a bad back because of the size that he was and all the crazy things that he would do. And we're going to see some of them in this match here. You know, I think I may be wrong here, and I may be way out of line, and fans will scoff at this, but I think when it's all said and done, Big Van Vader is going to be one of the better working big mans ever.
No, I don't think you're going out on a limb there. I think most people would have him on their short list.
Yeah. He just did some great stuff. I saw on Twitter and you may have this question already queued up for later on. I saw on Twitter someone had asked why because the mask looked so good when we first saw Vader years ago. Remember that big mask? Okay. Why did we not have it later on? It's because he was tired of traveling with it. He was tired of carrying it around. And because he had to check it in, and it was just, this was the compromise. So just wear your mask, forget about your big hood. And I like the hood too. It was pretty cool, but he was just tired of traveling with it. And that's why we stopped. That's why he stopped.
We've talked a little bit briefly about the really awful, WCW theme music that existed around this time. And we've talked about the natural theme song here. Do you remember any of that off the top of your head?
Yeah. Well, they call him the natural, a natural as can be. Well, they call him the natural. That's about all I know. You got the lyrics in front of you?
No, I don't, but you may be able to throw it in your Google machine. But I found it funny because I got a call from a friend of ours this week when I was watching this with the sound, and told him when I was watching, and he was really particularly proud that he helped do Johnny B. Bad's theme music. I don't know why anybody would want to take credit for that, but he was particularly proud.
We're talking over a pretty damn good match here.
And I loved the heat that Dustin was able to get here, because Vader was really bullying, getting some really stiff shots in the camera. Sweat was flying off and hitting the camera. I mean, those were loud, audible smacks. And then Dustin fires up, takes him down, and just unloads in a way we had never really seen Vader handled before. Absolutely.
And Dustin was a fine performer. Vader could take some incredible bumps as a big guy. This, to me, was, I don't know if by far is the right word, but yeah, let's say by far the best match on the card.
The Observer would agree. They said easily the best match on the show. He gave it 3.5 stars. And the readers in the reader poll agreed. They gave it best match of the night overwhelmingly.
Yeah. Two guys who can work. Vader did some a great job of bumping for Dustin, selling his shots. And it was a good finish. Dustin had great timing, like his father, who had tremendous timing.
Do you think that Vader gave Dustin so much out of respect to his dad?
I think Vader gave him so much because he knew it would be a good match. I don't, respect to Dusty may have come into play here, but Leon had a good head on his shoulders as far as what worked and what didn't. I thought. I know that a lot of people didn't like Leon. He was temperamental. He had quite a temper, but look at this here. I mean, look at Dustin beating Leon down to the point to where they got to pull Dustin off of Big Van Vader. That's great shit, man.